Good morning. Helen will be joining us any moment. You guys know the drill. We are here to have our conversation today about compassion. We are going to share. Let's see if I can add her. Ooh, come on, Miss Helen. Where art thou? I think she's coming. Here she's connecting.
There we go.
Here she is. I see you. Do we hear you?
Can you see me?
I see you, but you're really quiet.
I'm really quiet. Okay.
Oh, that's
Good
better.
morning. Oh, there we go. It's the headphones. Good morning. So this morning we're talking about
Compassion. You're still really quiet. I need to turn up my volume super loud to hear you. And you're not a quiet person.
I am not a quiet person. How about if I turn the volume up? Did that work?
We hear you. It's just you're really gonna have to use your voice.
Generate myself.
Yes.
I like that. Woo! I feel very loud. Awesome. So great.
You'll get some aliveness today from that.
I will, apparently. Awesome. Okay, so Szara, we were talking today about compassion, but we're taking on a specific space of compassion, right? And asking ourselves a question.
So last week, just before we go even on to this
that's a good point.
Last week, we even just introduced compassion, and we were taking on looking, where do we notice compassion, and where do we notice for ourselves that it makes a difference? Where do we see compassion in our life? Where do we see when we're interacting with our kids that what gives us access to show up compassionately, and what gives us what's compassion to you? So these were kind of some of the conversations we were exploring for ourselves last week. And what did you notice anything, Helen? What came up for you?
It's so interesting because I think it's going to link to the second half of our conversation. Is that I just noticed that when I come from a space of compassion and actually looking what's there for the other person, then it's literally what I just said. Sorry, that was really lame. But there's space. There's actually this gap that then I can look from, not driving something, not making something, somebody else they should be doing something. I actually can look together with them. Isn't that what we said compassion was?
Exactly.
So annoying.
Yeah, I noticed for myself, anytime I was actually coming from compassion, anytime I was actually present to my child and what they were dealing with and what they were experiencing, and I was curious and I was interested, and I would say I was coming from a compassionate space.
Yeah.
I found myself not in any kind of reaction. First of all, I really noticed that. I actually noticed sometimes some things happen. We've been having a really crazy week because we've been packing up all of our stuff to downsize it and move on to our boat. And which sometimes I feel like I'm taking 2 steps forward and 5 or 50, 100 backwards. And so, I've been kind of on edge, I guess, around the house, just really doing, really task oriented. There's boxes to pack, there's stuff to get out, there's things to get off to, the consignment store, the used store.
Yeah.
And I've been really fixated and focused. And, Reed, my youngest, will come in and he'll start undoing my boxes. And right away it's you're so in my way. That's my reaction. It's right there. Reed, no, that's right there. What's right there? But taking on the curiosity of compassion, it's getting curious of him and what's going on over there? Oh, are you bored? Oh, do you want some activity? As soon as I could access compassion, it gave me it diffused any reaction. I actually was all of a sudden transported over with him, by his side.
Oh, that's brilliant, right? Because you can actually see it in action right there.
Yeah, and so they're in by his side, and it's and then when I'm actually acknowledging and with compassion, it gives this bridge, and all of a sudden acknowledgement is right there. I could acknowledge what he was dealing with and who what was going on for him. And then as soon as I got that, I could speak to him in a way that he could really hear me and really listen. And And it was like we were a team. We weren't like
Mm,
two opposing factors with two different agendas. It's like we were coming from the same agenda. And like we could just speak to that same place. It's like, okay, you really want to play and hang out. You really want something to do. Okay, I really want to get these boxes packed. And it's like, what do we do? And right away, it's like he helped for a little bit. Like right
mm,
away, he like helped picking up the things that he had taken out, and then made a request like, how about we go out on the trampoline? And his dad was right there
mm.
and said like, I can take you out on the trampoline. And next thing you know, he was taken care of. He got heard. I got heard, and things moved forward. Without what would have happened before, it would have just been like, read, stop, out, and like there would have been this separation and this push away, which would have
Mhm,
left him upset and
mhm.
likely more reactive, and me more
Well, I was going to
reactive, and
say
me
more reactive in
disappointed.
that moment. Yeah, for sure, right? And
Yeah,
then there's something more to take care of. And I really love what you said right there because it's really clear. Like it actually has you standing together in the same place, right? Like
yeah,
you're looking from two different spaces, but you're actually standing together as
yeah.
opposed to that kind of pull, one person pulling, trying to pull the other person or push the other person somewhere. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah. The
Mm-hmm.
more I explored it, the more I love that definition we came across, that with, like
Yeah,
loving with. Because as soon as you
yeah.
stand in compassion, it's like you are like right side by side with that person.
Yep,
It's
yep.
like,
And it's so fun when you start to actually say, because even this morning there was this interaction about Mia needed to go to the orthodontist, but she needed a water gun, and like there was this whole space of like, well, wow, why didn't we have this sorted out further, right? But right, standing there with her and listening, right, and like just being with her on her team, right? I was like, okay, so how do we make this happen? And then she actually made a request. She, like, of her dad though, like, can you take me on the way to the orthodontist appointment to get a water gun? I was like, it's that witness that's just, it's
mm,
really lovely. And then there's not the opposingness of it, right? Is that a
yeah,
word? Opposingness.
yeah, I
Making up
like it.
words now.
I like it. We can start our own definition, our own dictionary.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, and so then it really brings us into this week. Like what we're really looking at this week is why compassion? Here's
Hmm.
compassion. Why? What difference does it make? Why take it on? Why look at the discovery? Why come
Mm,
from that space? What does it offer?
mm,
Yeah, and what I hear, and like it's kind of what I'm sharing, is like I just see it as like, and I see it newly, like it's really been neat the last couple of days. It's compassion is a bridge. It's this bridge to whoever I'm with. It's my bridge with my
mm,
child. It's my bridge with a friend. It's my bridge with
mm,
a partner. As soon as I'm
mm,
standing in compassion, I am interested. I am curious. I am over there with them. And like when we actually then communicate after, like you stand in compassion and then you go to speak, you're actually speaking with them and not at them. It's like you're
yeah.
actually over there side by side.
Oh,
It's like this bridge for our feelings. It's this bridge for our communication. It's this bridge for connection. It's like, wow, compassion really is this bridge, and I haven't seen that before.
I love it. I really, really love it. The idea of a bridge. It's like so, so visual for me. And when we were talking earlier, the one thing that really comes up for me around compassion is why I think it's so important and why compassion is because I'm so aware of that critical voice we have in our head. And I'm so aware of my
Mm.
mothering critical voice, right? Like all the things I've screwed up and all the things I've done wrong. And why didn't I do it this way? And why did I like raise my voice? Why didn't,
I'm
And
sure
so
you all know a little bit of what Helen's talking about. I know I do.
right? And I heard somebody speak the other day about that critical voice, and I'm like, what would it be like if we had an access to silencing our critical voice, that we could turn it down, right? And I really hear that compassion is that, right? For
Mm,
us as human beings, we actually get to turn down our personal critical voice that runs us.
mm. So like I hear like just like offering yourself compassion.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
Sarah Key from South Africa. Sorry, we just got to do the whoop
And hello, Aunt Mimi.
whoop.
But yeah, compassion, it gives us this access. It gives us this access to love. It gives us access to a lot of spaciousness. Like we don't have to do it
Yes.
perfect, but we want to hold on to that because that's a little bit of next week.
Oh, dang. Here we go.
But it does. It's really, we really get to be with people. We really get to be with
Yeah.
ourselves. We really get to be with what's important to us. We get to be with our children. We get to be with our whoever's important to us, whoever we're with compassion.
Yeah.
It's this access. It's this
Yeah.
tool. Yes.
Yes, we hear that they're teaching empathy in schools in Norway. And you know what? We even have roots of empathy babies in our school here to actually um, sorry, I'm trying to think of the word, mitigate the things around bullying, is that they're actually bringing babies into schools here. Yeah, to actually
Wow.
have, people
It's
get
such great
empathy
training,
and
like just
compassion.
to
Yeah,
actually make that
yeah,
important, because like it is
yeah,
like to come from empathy. And we talked about that last week, that compassion isn't empathy, but empathy, as soon as you stand in empathy, it's like that's the first point that brings compassion.
yeah.
Like empathy and compassion
Oh,
are
I
two
just got
different
goosebumps.
spaces. Like
Oh,
empathy like breeds compassion.
yeah, yeah. But I
Yeah, as soon
also
as
hear
you're
the
interested.
bridging all over again, right? Bridging, 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 right? Well, Sarah, you know what I say? You're a firecracker. Maybe you want to take on a project in South Africa. I don't know, but I'm up for a
Ooh,
conversation
bring a
around
whole
what it would
wave of
take.
empathy and compassion your
Yeah.
way and be like an empathy warrior.
Oh, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it really makes a difference. Like, and I hear too, like it another thing about compassion, like when we parent from compassion with compassionate communication or just standing
Mm-hmm.
in compassion to be with our kids, it 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 gives something to our kids. Our kids get to be whole. They get to be valid for who they are and what their experience is. Because as soon as we're standing in compassion and we're over there with them, it's like they're seen, they're heard, they're acknowledged, they're valid. And it gives this resilience to who they get to be in their like owning themselves and then their identity. They can own themselves in like the biggest, grandest way. So I hear like in schools or in anywhere with our kids, like to bring this empathetic and compassionate kind of communication would make such a difference to give kids that resiliency and the space to be
Mm.
all of who they are.
But you see, and that's so interesting because the conversation usually is you have to harden your kids, right?
Mm,
For them to cope in the world, right? Yeah,
yeah,
I'm agreeing with you, Sarah. Resilience is totally the key, right?
yeah,
And I really hear that resilience comes from kids being known and seen and loved and treated with compassion. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, Sarah,
Awesome.
it's so fabulous to have you contributing. It's like really raising the bar in the
You're here in the
conversation. I just really want to
conversation.
acknowledge you. Yeah. And thank you for being like bold and stepping in. I just, ah, makes me trickle. Okay. What's that to a degree? Say more, Sarah, so we can have a last little bit there. Okay. Yeah. It is one of the things we can give. Yeah. We have to be aware. You're right. And
Hmm.
but I think that's part of what compassion brings, right? All of these kind of what people call soft skills
Yeah,
actually brings all of that stuff, right?
yeah.
That's
And
what
it's
it
so good,
was.
Helen. Like it's what Helen and I are bringing here with committed parenting, and what for us is so important, and that's why we've been in this conversation. Is there's this other place we can come from as parents when we can really connect with our commitment and not the right way or any specific prescribed way. It gets to be your way, and with that, like that love. Generally, when you come from there, that love can't help but come through. And our kids get left with that love and connection in the end when we come from our commitment. And so that's what we
Yeah,
should do in these kind of conversations.
yeah. And I just want to loop back, and I don't know if it's appropriate, but I just want to loop back here. The one thing that I hear is like when our kids are loved up, their needs get met, right? And then they don't need to go out in the world and like I don't know, like force their stuff on other people, right? Do
Hmm.
you know what I'm trying to say? And it's like it's that part of why I want to love my kids up, so that they actually have this resilience that when they go out there, they know themselves are so grounded, right? In being loved and
Hmm.
like being treated as humans with compassion and respect and empathy and all those words, right? All those ways of being. Yeah. So that
Yeah,
they
it
can
gives them
walk
such a
out.
base to come from. It gives them that ground, that base, that home that
Yeah.
can really nourish and fill them up.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm just going to say, like, it's interesting. You have big kids too, but yeah, we build confidence, definitely. Um, yes, and they're functional humans. Oh, you, Sarah. I wish you were just talking with us. It would be so brilliant. Um, yeah, whole beings. Yes. I was just going to say, watching my kids go into the world and like work in other people's homes in difficult circumstances, or going on work experience and being with, other humans, and I'm just like so moved by my kids, not from what I've done, but who they get to be in the world with other people, that it comes back to me over and over, right? And that's the part that I want for every kid, that they know themselves, those whole beings going into the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really what we're up to.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun to be, well, I guess I'm just trying to say it's also fun to be on the other side, having like big kids now and a little still, right? Is that witnessing that there's some, I don't know, it's kind of like validates it in a way. Is that a bad thing?
It's all bad. So bad and wrong.
Okay, cool.
So this week,
Cool.
so like each of
Yes.
us get to take on like coming back to compassion and why compassion. And it's like for yourself, why don't you explore? Go explore why compassion. Go stand in compassion with your kids. Have that
Mm,
bridge to them and with them and be with them, hear them, get curious and get interested and be with
mm-hmm,
them in communication and see what shows up. See for yourself why compassion. See for yourself the difference it can make. And so today I'm taking that on. I'm taking that on. I'm away this weekend for the
mm-hmm,
rest of the week other than this weekend. Bringing like that compassion and really exploring and digging in my muscles of compassion and what it offers.
mm-hmm. Brilliant. So Sarah just asked when we're talking again. Next Friday, same time, same place. You'll see two
Yeah.
of us ready to rock and
Friday,
roll.
9:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we have these conversations. And so next week we
Yeah.
will be exploring another aspect of compassion. So this whole month is compassion. It's compassion, compassion, compassion. So we get to soak it all in and
Yes.
like really come from it and take it on as
Yes.
parents. So that
Yeah.
and we get to be in that in community. So we're all get to take this on and try out our compassion and what shows up and where we might have breakdowns and what gets in the way. That actually would be a good topic too. What gets in the way of compassion? Because I'm actually like really noticing some of the things that can get in the way of that. Awesome.
Yeah, me too. And
Oh,
I'm still
compassion
typing
for
here.
my brother.
Hello, Michael. Oh, I love this. Okay, you guys,
Awesome.
thank you for being here and being in this conversation. It's just
Mm-hmm.
ah, so enlivening. So thank you.
So
Thank you
off
for
we
us
go.
standing in this new world, right? Really?
Yes.
Okay,
And
cool.
go out and play with that compassion. Go play.
Yeah.
See what it
Yes.
offers for you in that bridge. Love
Okay.
you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.